One of the important stories that we want to bring forth in front of our viewers. It was a harrowing ordeal for a 28-year-old woman who took a flight from Kolkata to Abu Dhabi. The woman claimed she was groped and forcibly shown porn clips by a co-passenger seated right next to her. The woman also claimed that the man had introduced himself to her as an executive from a Jindal company. As an immediate response, the airline's crew helped her while she raised an alarm, and the Abu Dhabi police also spoke to her when the plane landed shortly after that. The woman also shared her ordeal online, tagging Naveen Jindal, following which he responded, asserting that he will take the strictest possible action and that there is zero tolerance in such matters in his company. NDTV reached out to Naveen Jindal, however, he has refused to comment on that incident to us. For the moment, though, we have in fact got the woman at the center of this entire incident, harrowing ordeal, joining us now on NDTV. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Now, if you could begin by sharing what exactly happened on that flight.
Thank you for amplifying the issue that I went through. I was traveling from Kolkata to Boston via Abu Dhabi. And on the flight from Kolkata to Abu Dhabi, I was seated next to a middle-aged man who claimed to be from Jindal Steel, CEO. Very normal conversation. As you know, when you're traveling, that you sometimes meet a lot of different kind of people, some who are extremely chatty. And this gentleman was having a normal conversation about where he's from and, where I'm from, what we do. And he even extended his support as an elderly man that, if you need anything as an ambitious young person, please feel free to reach out. The conversation was extremely normal and innocuous at that point of time. He then steadily moved on to ask me whether I have hobbies. I told him that I'll enjoy reading and writing. And he asked me whether I also enjoy watching movies. To which I replied, obviously, right? I mean, I do enjoy watching movies. And he pulled out his phone and his earphones, and he's just like, I have some clips that I can show you. Again, not even suspecting what that could lead to. I agreed. We were having a normal conversation. Dinner was being served on the flight. And it turns out that he started showing me porn videos. He pulled out explicit, vulgar content and started showing me. And I think my body went into a state of shock and scare because I just could not understand what was happening. It was too unexpected for me as well. And I just sat there absolutely stiff. And then he slowly started nuzzling my neck and coming towards me and moving his hands around my body. That's when I think I snapped out of that care and ran to the washroom and reached out to the air crew, who were extremely kind because they did see that I was uncomfortable, but since I had not raised anything till then, they could not have taken any action. They did not also know whether we were traveling together or not. But when I did, they made me sit where the air hostesses usually serve, and they sit during landing and takeoff. That's why they made me sit and serve me some tea and brought in some fruits for me. And this man has called them repeatedly afterwards as well to ask where I had gone. He wanted to know my whereabouts. He's like, something might have happened to her in the washroom. And this is after the air hostess has repeatedly told him that it's not her prerogative to tell him. And if anything is wrong with me, that's her concern, not his concern. And it's of service towards him as well. And it was a smaller flight because it's from Calcutta to Abu Dhabi. So there were only 8 business class passengers altogether in that place. And I think all my co-passengers could also see that there was something wrong, even if they did not know the details. The Etihad, I was on Etihad, and I'm so grateful for them because they informed the Abu Dhabi police beforehand itself. So when the doors opened, there were 2 cops who were waiting. This man was not allowed to deplane, and I was also not allowed to deboard. And the 2 cops, one went to him and one came to me to ask me what happened. Unfortunately, because my first flight, Abu Dhabi to Calcutta, was running late, and I needed to board my flight to Boston. It was a very short time for me to go from the plane to a police station and make a formal complaint, but I felt very heard and seen in the way that the Abu Dhabi police dealt with the whole situation and the way that the crew backed me up. This gentleman did not deny what happened. That's what the police told me. In fact, the Abu Dhabi police also told me that he is willing to apologize to me if I so wanted, but I did not want to interact with him. I did not want to share space with him. And they respected that. And they helped escort me from the airplane to my next gate where I was going to board. Also informed the security at the gate to make sure that nobody approaches me. So this is what happened. And it's very unfortunate that I couldn't go ahead with a complaint at Abu Dhabi itself. But I wanted to make sure that a man who claims to be in power and is probably in a space of power that could do something with such impunity on a flight does not have the legitimacy to do that again.
It is very difficult for anybody to actually know what's the right thing to do at that point of time, and you've bravely actually put out your account in the public domain. But now that you have had time to process what's happened, would you want to pursue a legal case?
I have written to the Kolkata police. That's where I'm from, Tanima. I grew up in the city of Calcutta. I call it home. And I have already written an email to the commissioner and the DCP of the airport because I do want to ensure that this is taken forward in some way or the other where this does not happen to anyone else.
Also, we wanted to know, since you tagged Naveen Jindal on X and he had responded, can you tell us whether the response that's come from him is satisfactory, according to you?
To start with, the first thing is that the fact that I got a response itself is a good sign. I believe that the reason that I decided to take to social media, putting my own mental health at risk, honestly, because the vilification that comes with sharing an incident like this is something that takes a toll on you. And I still decided to do it only because I hoped that this would land on the right ears. And it did. The response is one of that indication. However, if you see the response by Mr. Jindal, it's a very formal response that, okay, we have zero tolerance towards sexual harassment and action will be taken and investigation will carry forward. It's going to be almost over 10 hours, if not more, since I've received that response on X. However, nobody from his team has reached out. He has not reached out to me. There has been no action that I can see. Those seems like words that a politician would say. And as you know, he is also an elected leader now, who might be looking to protect his own image. But I'm hoping that he will take some action and they will reach out to me to hear what actually happened and not just let it be one of the many things that fizzles out.
Right, to end with, we want to also ask you, what kind of support do you need?
I think it's a couple of things, right? I think I have been very fortunate to have a supportive friends and family around me, and that community has always stood up for me. What I would appeal in terms of support is that keep putting pressure on Mr. Jindal as much as possible, because the one thing is predators like him need to be removed from positions of power. Because, like I said, that I am somebody who thankfully has agency enough that I could speak up and I could take the risk of putting myself out there on social media. But I wonder how many women might have been victim to his advances, right? To put it politely. I think one of the support I need is amplification and any kind of pressure that can be put on Mr. Jindal. You giving me space to speak about this is also one of those forms of support. And I'm very, very grateful to the NDTV team for reaching out to me.
Right. In fact, it's a very brave account that you have shared, and we thank you for speaking to us here on NDTV.